Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful Saturday weather. And if not, go do so before it's gone this next week. I know you've got a lot of things going on in your personal lives and your academic lives, but do yourselves a favor and get a little bit of sunshine on your day. Thought I'd throw up a quick video to answer a few of the common questions that have been coming in over the course of the last few days. And I'll begin with the idea of the thesis statement in your introduction. Right now, what I'm seeing is we're making it more difficult than what it needs to be. And let me try and simplify it for you very quickly. This really only needs to be one sentence, and it needs to be very, very simple. And what the thesis statement in your speech should do, both in the introduction and then as you recap again in the conclusion, is what is the one or two things that you want your audience really to know at the end of that speech. And that's it. That does not need to be a paragraph. It doesn't need to be 3 sentences. You can really summarize that in just one simple sentence. So figure out what exactly is that thing that you want them to take home and work on that throughout the body of the speech to really push that notion all the way through. Because remember, we've got to go through that 17 times process that we talked about in class the other day. And you do that throughout the speech in a number of ways. The other thing that I'm really seeing when I'm looking at outlines is we're doing a nice job in the introduction of including our own credibility and talking to the audience. And then as soon as we get to the body of the speech, that just goes away. Don't stop. My goodness, no. We don't want the body of the speech to sound like a pamphlet that we would open up anywhere where we move around campus and pull things out of a bulletin board. We want it to still sound like this conversational tone where you're addressing your audience and explaining your ideas in a way that makes the most sense to them, rather than moving from citation to citation. Of course, we want to have the citations in there, but each time you give us a main idea or even a subpoint, you got to take some time and explain how that relates to your audience. Now, for a lot of you, you go through and do some revisions and some edits. It means you're going to have to cut some things out. I encourage you all to time your speeches very carefully, because once 5 minutes hits, you're done. And if you haven't completed the speech, then you haven't completed the speech. So be sure that you're fitting into that time frame, that you're getting in those, minimal amount of ideas that you want to be sure and get in there, get into the speech, and then taking the time to really help us understand why those are concerns for us, rather than putting as much information into it and trying to make it as dense as possible. And I trust that you'll all get to that point. And these are typical problems that we have in the first speech of the semester. It's not something that's your fault or my fault. It's a growing process throughout the semester. And again, why we scaffold the level of points with the speeches. And then I think the third thing that bears bringing up is some people are asking some questions about dealing with nerves and preparation. And, again, there's no right or wrong answers. You're going to have to figure out what works for you. And again, this is a practice speech in a lot of regards, just for the rest of the semester and then for the rest of your careers. But do remember that it's okay for you to think about things that go wrong as you prepare, so long as you take the time and put in a little bit of energy thinking about how you could correct those things, how you could make them strengths rather than weaknesses, or pick yourself up and move forward. Because again, that's what we're more concerned with. We're not going to sit around later and talk about what happened in your speech that was terrible. We want to see you overcome these things, and that's what we're really going to remember. So if you envision yourself saying the wrong word, how would you correct that within the moment? Oh, just a second, let me go back, fix that particular word. I mean, you see me do that in class all the time. Obviously, I'm not a perfect speaker, and you shouldn't expect the same things of yourselves. Anyways, don't forget to get your outlines up by Monday at midnight into the Dropbox on D2L. We'll give all of our speeches on Tuesday night. I anticipate us having more than enough time. So be prepared for that. Try not to stress yourselves out too much for it. I know sometimes that's a difficult thing, but trust yourselves. You'll get there. And we'll see you Tuesday night.